Since coming back to YouTube, y'all have been flooding my DMs. Max, where have you been? Max, we've missed you. Max, I've been sitting in my room staring at the wall for the past 4 months because I already watched all your old content so many times and you put out nothing new, so I just had nothing else to do except sit in my room and just rot. Fear not, lowly creature, because I am back and I am better than ever. I've just been getting swole for the past 4 months. Look at that shit. Look at that shit. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Max, that seems a little narcissistic to be showing off the 2 pounds of muscle that you put on in the past 4 months. And to that, I would say yes. That's not a little narcissistic, that is very narcissistic. And that leads me to the guy that we're gonna be talking about today, Luke Belmer. Now, if that name does not ring a bell, I wouldn't be surprised, but you might recognize him from this clip that popped off a couple months ago on TikTok.
Brother, just wait till somebody creates an AI that puts Jesus, Muhammad, the Buddha all into one, and people start worshiping the church of AI. Just wait for it, bro. Watch it. Clip this.
Yeah, so I doubt that's ever gonna happen, but he was very confident in what he was saying, and he seemed very prophetic. So it kind of just turned into a meme from there.
Brother, just wait till somebody creates an AI that puts Jesus, Muhammad, the Buddha all into one, and people start worshiping the church of AI. Just wait for it, bro. Watch it. Clip this. Wait for it, bro.
Just you wait. I know what's gonna happen. I know what's around the corner, okay? We're all gonna be worshiping AI. It's gonna be telling us secrets that we never even thought existed, okay? We're gonna have every god imaginable rolled into one, and that's going to be our Lord and Savior. Now, as I was looking at this TikTok, which has 113 likes, I did see this comment from Mr. Beast down there. Mr. Beast, what are you doing commenting on this? You goofy little boy. You know, fuck it. I'll give it a like. I love Mr. Beast. I love that guy. If Mr. Beast made a church, I'd be right there. I'd be on my hands and knees worshiping him, washing his feet in hopes that I could get $1 million, or even just 10 bucks. Even $10 is fine. I would do anything for $10 at this point. So that kind of just gave you a gist of who Luke Belmer is. He's a podcast guy. He loves being on podcasts. And if you couldn't tell from his look alone, he's kind of like a financial, like crypto guy. And honestly, I feel like that's something we're lacking these days, is more men talking on podcasts about finance and crypto.
It's cyclical, right? So every 4 years, crypto does the same thing. You have the bear market we just went through, and then we have the bull run cycle, right?
What's the freedom of money mean?
A huge part of the global population have no access to banking. That freedom of money is only via crypto.
Do you guys have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with the sharks that are in the water that surround Ethereum?
Proponent of crypto, I do use crypto, Bitcoin, ETH, the big ones.
Now, Coinbase has 2 products. They have something called Coinbase, and they have Coinbase Wallet.
Every morning I wake up and I turn on just a random podcast, and I just hope it's like a bunch of straight dudes talking about money, and I'm like, yeah. This is how I want to start my day. So let's take a look at the first TikTok I have here, where he's giving some profound inspirational advice.
They're lying to you, making you feel that $1 is a dollar when it's actually not. $1 from 1979 today is 3 cents. So if you would have kept 100 grand in there, you would still have 100 grand, but it wouldn't be worth the purchasing power of that. You need to look at purchasing power divided by the amount of time that it took you to keep that.
Breaking news. Luke Belmer just discovers what inflation is. I really do love just his choice of music in the background when he's talking in these clips. Like, it's just so profound. It's so inspirational. It's so motivational. Before this TikTok, I wasn't even aware that money today is worth less than it was 50 years ago. But luckily I had Luke here to explain it to me step by step. I will say though, I am a little bit disappointed because I wanted him to tell me how to get rich in this TikTok. And instead I just learned about what inflation is. So that's a little bit disappointing, but maybe we'll get there at some point. So this is another thing that he does with a lot of his TikToks, is he adds this clip at the beginning with him holding up a glass of champagne with a text that says, "It really motivated me when Luke said," and then he proceeds to say something that's really motivational. But considering this TikTok is his personal TikTok account, I do think it's a little funny that he's saying that it really motivated him when he said a specific thing, because I feel like he's just motivating himself, which, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're motivating yourself, I mean, that's good. That's a good thing.
When a lot of people come to me, they're like, Luke, I have nothing. Brother, you and I have the same exact thing: time, energy, and attention. But what you use your time for, it doesn't yield a return. What I use my time for yields a return. You get paid in proportion to the difficulty of the problems that you solve. Elon Musk said that once. Most people that don't make money, they don't solve problems. They don't spot problems. They don't capitalize on problems.
Okay, so I have a couple issues with this statement. First off, why are we quoting Elon Musk? I think we're all past that.
The left wanted to make comedy illegal, you know? Like, you can't make fun of anything. So there's like, comedy sucks. It's like, nothing's funny. You can't make fun of anything. It's like legalize comedy.
I mean, you had Tim Waltz running around on stage with a Tesla stock price, where the stock price had gone in half, and he was overjoyed. What a creep. What a jerk.
Elon Musk is not a smart dude, and I feel like the majority of people know that. Maybe not majority, that might be a strong term. I feel like some people know that, but I think the majority of people, if they were born into the same amount of wealth that Elon Musk was, I think that they would have a pretty easy time like retaining that wealth and making more money off of it. But whenever your starting point is so low as with the majority of Americans or just the entire population, it does make it a little more difficult. So I think it's just really stupid to quote somebody and look up to someone who was born with an immense amount of privilege. And then on top of that, you're talking about how everybody has the same things. We all have the same amount of time. It just depends on how we're spending it, which is true that, you know, we all do have time. Time is the same for everybody. Like 1 second is a second, a minute is a minute, and we'll all die at some point. But I think it's just really shallow to compare somebody who's working a full-time job who wants to enjoy maybe some leisure time to say that they're not working hard enough, which is why they're not making more money and will continue to be poor, is kind of shitty. Like, yes, in some cases, if you work more, then you're gonna make more money than if you worked less. But at the same time, like, there are so many other factors that go into this. Your starting point is a very big factor. Not everybody starts in the same position as everybody else. So some people just have to work a lot harder for that. Not all jobs are good paying jobs. And if you want to have a good paying job, you might have to go to college. And if you do go to college and then get a good job, then you're just paying off that debt for the next 30 years. So I think it's just kind of weird to be like, yeah, we all have the same thing, so everybody has the opportunity to be rich. Just be like me. That's not reasonable. That's just straight up dumb. Okay, that's just kind of dumb. And also, you're making money off of doing podcasts, which is a very easy thing to do. It doesn't exactly take much strenuous labor to sit down and talk into a microphone and give some dumb advice. So forgive me if I have a little more respect for somebody working a minimum wage job for 40 hours a week trying to make ends meet than I do for a podcast, bro.
What music do you listen to now?
So I tapped into this new ADHD music. I think it's called the brown noise.
Me too, Luke. Me too. Especially after having a good helping of Taco Bell 4 hours later. That's all I'm listening to.
Anything to me that is commercially available for the ants and the NPCs and people whose intentions I don't align with or whose worldviews I know are corrupted by evil, I'm not going to listen to them. Why? Because from a vibrational perspective, from a lyrical perspective, from the fact that I don't give a fuck whether they get rich or the fact that they don't give a shit about me.
Yeah, so for all of you out there that are listening to, you know, like Bella Porsche and Lil Nas X, y'all are ants, y'all are NPCs, y'all don't really matter. Y'all are just kind of out there, okay? You're not Luke. You're not as rich as Luke. You're not as dedicated as Luke. I mean, look at him. Bro's talking on a podcast right now. What are you doing? Listening to Charlie XCX? Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Miss me with that devil music. This is a house of God. He comes off as like he's so much better than everybody else because he listens to brown noise. Congratulations, Luke. I'm really happy that you found some music that fits your vibe. I guess just kind of like boring and mundane and kind of just pointless. But for the people that actually appreciate music as like an art form, as a form of escapism, or even to like help them in hard times or have fun in good times, I feel like you're kind of missing the point of what music actually is. Also, I think it's funny that he says, I don't give a fuck if they get rich or not.
From the fact that I don't give a fuck whether they get rich.
I don't know if there's any musician out there who was asking Luke Belmer if he cared about how rich they are. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just couldn't imagine someone like Lil Nas X sitting over there and being like, damn, I really wonder if Luke Belmer is thinking about how rich I am right now. I really hope he is, because that's something that's been on my mind recently, and it would just really make me happy if he was thinking about how rich I am. Not everything has to do with money. Some people just like things. Some people just like to have fun. Some people just like to experience emotions. Maybe if somebody wants to listen to Bella Porsche, maybe that's okay. And if somebody else wants to listen to brown noise for hours on end, maybe that's also okay. Just some inspirational advice from Maxwell Kuntz.
Brother, the banks are printing billions of dollars out of thin air. It's an illusion. People are working for money. You need to be working to develop a business, to develop cash flow, to develop yourself, to solve problems. Don't work for money. Money will come. But people don't make money because they're not the type of person that attracts money. The reason the guy at Chick-fil-A or McDonald's makes $8 or $10 an hour is because they're replaceable. The person that's not replaceable, that is developed, is going to make a lot more money.
I think my favorite part about that TikTok is the whispering at the beginning. Like he's giving some deep, dark secret. Did you guys know that money is just printed? It's just made. And then for some reason we give value to it. Yes, Luke. Thank you for the very insightful advice there. I appreciate you telling me what money is, that it's a piece of paper that we've established value upon. I don't think of myself as a smart guy, Okay, I think I'm pretty stupid. I make YouTube videos, okay? I'm pretty dumb. But I think even the dumbest person realizes that, you know, money is just paper. Also, I think it's pretty weird that you're saying that McDonald's and Chick-fil-A employees are replaceable, but the richer you are, the less replaceable you are because you have money. As if there's not hundreds of people doing the same shit that you're doing. Do you think you're not replaceable? Do you think if you stop making videos, people would wonder, wonder where Luke Belmer is? I really missed that guy. He was giving me such great advice. Like, the fact that I'm not worth anything because I listen to music and I work at McDonald's. I miss that guy. I just think that's a little shitty. Just a tiny bit.
So what is money? Money is a technological advancement of commerce. 4,000 years ago, you owned a beautiful plot of land with great, beautiful olive trees, and I owned 50, maybe 70 cows. And I saw that plot of land. I said, you know what? I want that plot of land. Let me go to Riz and ask him, hey, how much is it? You already have cows, actually, so you don't need the cows that I have, so we can't actually transact. So I have to go sell my cows for some pigeons because you want the pigeons. Now I come back, I bring you the pigeons. One of them dies, so I have to go back and get another pigeon. And then finally I get the plot of land. Now you have the pigeon.
I just realized this TikTok is over 5 minutes long, and I'm not gonna sit here and listen to Luke tell me how trading worked and how it evolved into money, which I'm assuming he's just gonna say is like pointless and means nothing, but you have to make it anyway and blah, 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 blah. And from the looks of it, it looks like he's sitting in front of a bunch of people. How? You telling me people don't know how trading worked or how it currently works? I also really like that in the hashtags he has up here, he has hashtag cow, as if somebody's going to search hashtag cow on TikTok and listen to some crypto influencer talk about how trading works. Bro, you don't even know how to use TikTok and you're telling me how to make money on TikTok? Well, you don't even know how to fucking use it?
You don't own...
Okay, was not expecting this. I was not expecting Tucker Carlson to pop up here, but apparently he had an interview with Tucker Carlson, which is awesome. I'm sure this is going to be very enlightening.
Anything? Like big assets. You don't own
no big assets. Exactly.
an island in Hawaii or
no land, no real estate, nothing.
What the fuck? That's not Luke. Pavel Durov, CEO of Telegram, on why he doesn't own any big assets. Okay, now I'm pissed. I got super excited to see my two favorite guys in a room together, Luke Belmer and Tucker fucking Carlson, and I got duped into watching a TikTok about Pavel Durov. You think I give a fuck about Pavel Durov? I don't even know who that is.
Back in the day, you had to crack the whip over the back of the slave because they were like, hey, you know, we'll just force people into slavery. Now that you have a slave culture, all you know is slavery. So what if we all know a system that is just based on slavery? We don't know freedom. We don't know anything else. When you begin to study history, you begin to realize during the feudal age, when the peasants kind of worked on the land of the feudal kings, feudal lords, they only worked 140 days out of the year. The other 200 days they chilled. They didn't work. They went to the creek, they went to the river, they fucked around. Half of the year they couldn't, you know, work on the land because it was snowing, X, Y, and Z. So today we work more than the peasants. Most people work more than the peasants used to and have less to show for it. They have no land, they have no house, they have nothing. It's the illusion of slavery. It's the illusion of freedom. Back in the day, you at least knew you were a slave. You knew it. You had to buy your freedom. Today, you don't know you're a slave. Instead of cracking a whip, they've just printed money out of thin air and told you it's valuable and this is what you're supposed to work your entire life for. I don't work for money. Fuck that.
Bro just realized what capitalism is. This is so odd because a little bit ago he was just talking about how like McDonald's employees are replaceable and like they don't really mean anything, and yet like he's not because he has money. And now he's talking about how bad the system is because you have to work more and more and more and you still make the same amount of money, if not less. How do you put two and two together that the system is fucked up and bad, but then you're also like, but also these people aren't doing enough to make money. They need to start doing more, even though they are doing more because they're working more and more and more, as you just said, and they're making less. Make it make sense. Yes, capitalism in and of itself is very exploitative. This is why this channel is very pro-union. Say it with me, kids. Unions are good. You should have autonomy over your workplace. You should have a say in how much money you make because you're doing all the work, not people like this guy who's sitting and talking on a podcast for every day, it seems, with the amount of clips he's posting.
Think about the school system. You go into the school system. The moment you interact with the teacher, they tell you that in order for you to be approved or in good standing, you have to obey without questioning. You have to raise your hand to talk. You're a kid, but you have to sit there for 6-7 hours a day. You have to ask for permission to take a piss. All of these things are conditioning you to what? A specific mold, a specific structure. It's what I like to call the hamster wheel. The hamster wheel is the illusion of progress. So you go through these 12 years of education, but how do you know that what you're taught about history is correct? How do you know that what you're taught about finances is correct? For all I know, when I look at the professors in universities with PhDs and degrees, I look at their bank account, And I'm like, these people were never taught the essentials like budgeting or financial planning or financial literacy.
Everything always comes back to money. It always comes back to money. Guys, if you don't have a lot of money, you're not smart. You're not intelligent. Stop going to school, damn it. These people just want you to be slaves to the system. They want you to sit there and be a good little boy. Yeah, because you're a kid. You got to teach kids, bro. And I'm not going to sit here and say that the school system in America is great, but like, you do have to teach kids because they're kids. There should be like a learning experience. And I don't think that somebody's bank account has anything to do with their intelligence, because that makes no sense. Let's see what the richest man in the world is doing right now. Yeah, that seems like an incredibly intelligent guy to me. Very smart. Definitely has a lot of things going on up there. Your life should not revolve around how much money you make or how rich you are. Of course, everybody wants to be richer. I want everybody to be more wealthy. I think that would be awesome. I don't want people to be homeless, but I don't think the solution is just get back to work. Start working harder. Because as you said before, the system is fucked. Honestly, Luke, from the sounds of things, it doesn't really sound like you have any like strong convictions on anything really. You're kind of just yapping. You're kind of just a yapper, which makes sense because you are a podcast, bro. So you kind of just yap into yap. But I don't think everything you're saying is that smart. Okay, I'm gonna be honest.
If you committed the next 365 days of your life to the persistent pursuit of your potential and you were grinding 24/7 and you didn't cheat yourself, imagine what you would become. You would become a ruthless killer. You would become such a G that nobody would say, nah, this person ain't doing it. You'd be undeniable. 365 days. If you committed to that, you would win.
I need to ask you all a question, and that's if that hit you as hard as it hit me when Luke said that. Because that shit hit hard. That shit hit hard and it hit deep. And it just kept going. And oh my God, did it feel good. Ultimately, I don't think that everything Luke is saying is bad, okay? I think that there's a lot of stuff that he said that I definitely don't agree with. Some of the stuff is fine. This TikTok, he's saying that if you work hard every single day, you will maximize your potential, which I guess is probably true as long as you don't burn yourself out. The harder that you work to achieve certain goals, the more likely it is that you will achieve those goals. And I'm not going to sit here and say that that's a bad thing. If you have goals to achieve, you should work hard to achieve those goals. And yes, sometimes it can get hard and sometimes things pop up in the way. Okay, that's life. But ultimately, yes, you should work hard to achieve goals. I just think that the way he goes about it, saying that people that listen to music are like kind of like worth less than him, or saying that people that work at Chick-fil-A or McDonald's are replaceable, meanwhile he's not. I just think it's very cocky and shitty. But ultimately, if these sort of TikToks are inspiring people, I think that that's a good thing. I hope that they don't fall down the crypto rabbit hole scheme, and I hope that they don't become a person that's just obsessed with money. But if this is something that inspires somebody to do more, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's okay. Listen, I'm trying to become a little bit more positive with the content that I put out. I'm just here to have a good laugh. I'm here to have a little bit of fun, and I think Luke provided that for me. Thank you, Luke, for being your true self. And I appreciate the stuff that you're doing, because then I can do the stuff that I'm doing by talking about it. But thank you all for watching this, and I will see you in the next video when I go on a date with your mom. I already texted her, she's on her way, and we're gonna have a jolly good time, and you're gonna watch all of it.